right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conform to Transform, the podcast. Today is November 2nd.
Third.
Third. Oh, sorry. Third. I knew that because what I was just getting ready to say. November 3rd,
Sounds like you didn't know that.
2024. So I'm saying that year because it's a very significant day. We have a couple of days until what I feel is going to be a historic election. I
is
think
that
we
this
all
week?
feel that way. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So
Yeah. Hadn't heard.
Brian was just saying that today's recording might not be as long or as detailed, and I think that's fair. I think there's a weight that is laying heavy on everybody. Let's just call it what it is. Because we're all just I think there's some strong emotions involved in this election, and I'm not
Yeah.
going to get into
More than I've
politics
ever
and what
Yep.
side that we're going to vote on or how we feel. That doesn't matter. I just think there's a lot of feelings and strong emotion, and no matter which way it turns out, there's going to be some strong reactions. So
Yep.
it's just kind of heavy on everybody's heart. So it feels kind of I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about anything else, but we're going to try. And let's see what you've got for us
We're
today.
definitely going to talk about something else because we will not be ever talking politics on Conform
Oh,
to
no.
Transform.
That's what I know that. No. We will never.
Talk
'cause
about
we,
something else is going to be the easy part.
I am full.
I know
We're
what you're saying.
both. I know. I'm speaking for both of us, but obviously we talk about it a lot
Yep.
amongst us.
Yeah.
As we should.
Yeah.
But we will never ever talk about that on here. We both are in agreement that it's one of the enemy's ways to create division. And so we're not going to play into that.
Yeah. Well,
And
the problem is everybody I know has a PhD in political science.
Right,
So,
you know,
yeah,
yep,
it's
yep.
really better off just not saying
But
it.
at
I'm
the
not
end of the
smarter than anybody
day,
else, so.
Christ is king. God is in control, no matter what.
That's
So
where I was
that's
going with
at
that.
the end of the day. That's where we are.
Yep.
But
Indeed.
anyways, okay. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, well, one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this today, and I don't want this to feel forced or anything, but today's episode is called Wisdom Hunter. And I know that you've heard me talking about it a lot, but I have been on this mission. First of all, you know that I'm a fan of Solomon.
Yeah.
One of my favorite characters in the Bible. I can relate to him completely just based on the past and just things that I've been through. But something that is just, and I don't know if this is the Holy Spirit prompting me or what, but over the last several months, I've just become obsessed with wisdom.
Okay.
This topic of wisdom. And so, you know, I talk to you all the time about this, and I tell all my friends, Proverbs, I read the Proverbs of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, like today, I read Proverbs 3. Yesterday,
Yeah.
I read Proverbs 2. And, you know, that's pretty easy math. The day before that, obviously, I did Proverbs 1.
Yeah.
And I do that because there's 31 chapters in Proverbs. And a lot of people just don't realize this. I even feel like even rock-solid Christians that we know and we hang out with and all
Yeah.
of that, I feel like Proverbs is really, really underrated.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you look at it and you read it, like, dude, a fifth grader can understand this stuff. And it's
Mhm.
just, people are like, well, how do I find meaning in life? How do I find purpose in life? And Solomon, one of the first things he did as soon as he got appointed king, he's 15 years old, by the way, which is just crazy.
Solomon, right?
Yeah, Solomon. Yeah, what
Not
would I say?
salmon. Solomon.
I said salmon.
No, I'm just saying it for our. Not
Yeah,
everyone
okay.
knows.
There's
Not
no way I
everyone
said
is
salmon.
familiar.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So Solomon from the Old Testament, which, by the way, this is kind of crazy. This is King David's son. And to take it even a step further, even if you're not a Christian, you probably know the story of David and Bathsheba. David got bored one day. He didn't go to war. He went out onto his rooftop and he saw a really nice naked lady taking a bath next door. David took it upon himself to say, hey, bring that lady to me. He got her pregnant, and the result was King Solomon. So Bathsheba was his mama.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, when he turned 15 and
God uses you no matter where you come from.
that is 100% true. Yeah, the Bible's full of guys that screw up. Yeah, which is why it's so relatable, and it's I just love it. But anyway, God said, "Hey Solomon," and you can look this up. It's in Ecclesiastes, I believe, early Ecclesiastes. No, first or second Kings. Wow, I should know that. I'm sorry. But God says, "Hey, I will ask anything that you ask of me, I will give to you." And part of that was because of the relationship that he had with David. instead, because David was a man after his own heart. And Solomon did not ask for $1 million. He did not ask for a new Tesla. He did not ask for 5,000 square feet on a golf course. What he asked for was wisdom. This 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
God, just give me wisdom. That's all I want. And God was so pleased with him that he gave him so much wisdom that Solomon is considered the most wise man to ever live.
Wow.
Yeah. So now, but if you study his life and you look, things didn't end well for Solomon. He died around the age of 55 to 60, I believe, which back in those days you're basically 12
Right.
if you die at 60. So that seems to be pretty young. And so I'm on this Proverbs kick myself, so much that I'm probably even going to be doing individual videos on Proverbs throughout the month, kind of like I told you about. These little 5-minute snippets of just like what I found, because what I've been doing is the very beginning of every day, like that's what I start with. Like I read those Proverbs before I pretty much do anything else after using the bathroom and knocking the cobwebs out of my head. But I'm going to be talking about Proverbs 3 today, what I actually read this morning. But what I want to start off with is, if you're curious, why am I so high on Proverbs? Why do I like it so much? Let me read you the first 7 verses of Proverbs just right out of the gate in chapter 1. And I skipped verse 1 because that's just the intro saying that these are written by Solomon.
Right.
He wrote them for his kids as well, which he had like 10,000 of them, or whatever that number was. And so, anyway, so Proverbs chapter 1, verses 2 through 7. And just listen to this and let this sink in. The purpose of Proverbs is to teach people wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. Their purpose is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them do what is right, just, and fair. These Proverbs will give insight to the simple, knowledge and discernment to the young. Let the wise listen to these Proverbs and become even wiser. And let those with understanding receive guidance by exploring the meaning in these proverbs and parables, the words of the wise and their riddles. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge, but fools despite wisdom and discipline. What I took out of that, this is an instruction manual for wisdom and how to live your life successfully, happy, and with that peace that Jesus talks about. Fools despise wisdom and discipline. They don't listen to it. They don't want it. They think that they know everything. And every human does that. We do that all the time. We'll do it today and we'll do it again tomorrow. We feel like that we know better. Thus, we make some really, really stupid decisions. So what's your experience with Proverbs? So like, you're not a person that's just psycho obsessed with Proverbs and like not in love with Solomon like I am. And I don't want to say like you're a lay Christian. Like, I don't want to say that. Like, you've got your books and stuff that you love. You love praise and worship. Like, everybody's got their thing that they just love.
Right.
So for your opinion, from the outside looking in, somebody says Proverbs, what do you think? Like, what's in your brain?
I think it's like a blueprint.
You do?
I think
Okay.
that
A lot of people don't look at it that way.
I think that Proverbs it should be. I think that
Agree.
it teaches you how to love like Jesus. It teaches you how to arm yourself. It teaches you how to treat others. Crazy as it sounds, it teaches you how to win arguments.
It really does.
It really does. And it's the opposite of what you think. Like, it's drilled into us to be loud and stand up fight for your beliefs and what you believe in. No matter what. And really, if you start reading Proverbs, it's really kind of you start to see that it's kind of the opposite.
There's a lot of patterns.
And like Pastor Andy says, I think Proverbs is the guide to this, the foundation to this. Pastor Andy says, Christians, they aren't watching the church as much as they're watching you.
Yeah. Right.
And in order,
individually.
Yeah, individually, in order to they're watching Christians is what I should say. Let me be clear. They're not watching the church's stance as much as they're watching how Christians are living their lives from day to day. And Proverbs gives you lots of guidance on how to live the day to day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moment to moment, really, no matter what situation, too.
So that's the way you look at it. Yeah. In the
last I look at it.
Yeah. The last couple of weeks, remember, I've been telling you the 2 main takeaways I would take from Proverbs is how to get really, really smart. Or no. Yes. I'm sorry. How to gain knowledge.
Knowledge in what?
Just life, like decisions and making your decisions based on what God's will for your life is. Making the right decision, the right moral decisions, because there are moral absolutes. Yeah. What people say about that. There are moral absolutes. And it also teaches you to keep your mouth shut. Like,
yes.
so
Yes.
many times without, I don't know the count, whether it's King
Right.
James, NIV, whatever. If you go through and if you counted the number of verses where it says, a smart man keeps his mouth shut, a smart man knows when to talk and when to
Yes.
listen, and it's very specific about fools mouth off all the time,
Yeah.
And so what I've learned from it is follow God's will and keep your mouth shut.
Right.
Really, that's the moral of the story, which I struggle with. Maybe that's why I'm so obsessed with it,
Right.
because I'm trying to get better at this discernment and listening.
Yep.
I have a really hard time, like Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God.
Yeah.
I don't like still.
Right.
I don't like still at all. But sometimes you have to just shut up.
And remember on our last podcast, I talked about a lot how loving each other is a great way to overcome some of the things that we see going on in the world.
Yeah.
And I think Proverbs is about showing us how to model that no matter what situation we're in.
Yeah.
And keeping your mouth shut is part of that. Like, there's no reason that somebody voting different from you should ever cause division. That's an example right there.
It wasn't long ago that it didn't.
Right.
Like, you could hang out with somebody and you'd be like, hey, I voted for this person. And be like, well, I voted for this person. You both just laugh about it.
Right.
Now it's like, oh my gosh, you're the biggest idiot on the planet. I hate you. You're ignorant. Don't you know anything? And
so, I mean,
it's just ridiculous.
That's why I think I'm a firm believer in there's spiritual warfare going on. And I'm not quiet about that, and I won't be quiet about that. I think that it's a real thing, and I think it's definitely happening. And for those of us who see it, God has blessed us with that. And for those of us who haven't, we continue to pray that you will. But Proverbs is so important. That's why I think Proverbs has been pushed to the wayside, because it's so simple. Yet,
I love it.
And if we all lived by the Proverbs, can you imagine how different this would be?
Yeah, completely different. Yeah,
it would be completely.
We would not be living
different.
in the same world we're living in right now.
It would not be the same world, and because quite frankly, a lot of us are doing quite the opposite. Even some Christians,
100%. Yeah, yeah.
So I think it would serve everyone well to go back and Christians especially go back and read Proverbs. I know you're like, well, I've been a Christian for years. Proverbs is pretty simple. No. Go back and read it and pray over it.
I promise you, you're going to find something that you didn't need to see before.
And you're going to read it differently.
You're going to find a bunch of stuff that you're just not doing.
Yeah, 100%.
No matter who you are. Yeah. And, and I don't want this podcast to ever come across as like we have it figured out and like we have amazing wisdom and we're passing it down to you.
Not at all.
Believe me, I am 10 times more screwed up than anybody that's probably watching this, and I'm still trying to figure everything out. I am the furthest thing from a perfect human being that's probably ever existed. And so,
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
This is me just sharing what I'm excited about and passing it along. I do not have this figured out, but I do know that,
I don't have anything figured out, to be honest.
Yeah. So on December 3rd, I'll be reading Proverbs 3 again.
The only thing I do have figured out is that Christ is king.
Yeah.
And to do everything I can to live by his will and following what he tells me to do and what's best for
Mrs. Crouch.
Will be best for others.
That was good.
Right?
That was good. Yeah, so let's go ahead and jump into Proverbs 3, and I'm just limiting it to Proverbs 3, verses 13 through 19. Yeah. I don't want to do the whole chapter. I'm trying to cut this down just a little bit. Our last couple have went like over an hour.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
No, we just get to talking and we don't even realize. So,
although it is a nice distraction, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there's worse things. There's worse things to watch for an hour, right? And you can always mute us. Like, if you like the scenery and you don't want to hear us, we're glad to be background videos or noise. We don't mind. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. By the way, this is from the New Living Translation, the NLT. And the reason I did NLT, I usually study it in ESV, but whenever I'm talking like this, NLT is more modern, more real world, and I study it pretty good to make sure that it doesn't water it down and just make it weird. But this just makes it much more readable. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13 through 19. Joyful is the person who finds wisdom. And first of all, just let me back up. Remember, while we're reading this is the word of Almighty God. We take that for granted when we're reading this sometimes. This is the word of the Lord, living, breathing word of God, okay? Joyful is the person who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding. For wisdom is more profitable than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing that you desire can compare with her. She offers you long life in her right hand and riches and honor in her left. She will guide you down delightful paths. All her ways are satisfying. Wisdom is a tree of life to those who embrace her. Happy are those who hold her tightly. By wisdom the Lord founded the earth. By understanding he created the heavens. Isn't that just so good?
It's very good.
I love it. I just can't get enough of the Proverbs. And the cool thing is with it being 31 of them, and I've only been doing this for a few months here now, so like every time I read it, sometimes it still feels like the first time. You know what I mean? Because I don't have 31 chapters memorized, obviously. And so, you know, I got a few bullet points here that I just wanted to run through really, really quick. So, blessedness of wisdom. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding. How much more simple can it get than that?
It can.
If you find wisdom, you are blessed. If you are looking for gaining understanding, you're going to be blessed. And the Bible makes it very, very clear. It's a promise from God himself that if we seek him, we will find him. I know I'm dumbing this down, but like almost everybody I talk to, if I ask them to explain something to me that I don't understand at all, I always say, tell me like I'm 5. You hear me say it sometimes.
Yeah.
This is telling you like you're 5. Is really what this is. It's greater than wealth. It's worth more than wealth. Like, if you're a wise person in the eyes of God, if you're seeking after him, that is much more valuable than $10 million in the bank. You'll have a lot of fun with $10 million, but it's very, very short-lived. And that's why you see like lottery winners that are 10 times more depressed than when they won, right? It's because you may think that money fixes things, but it doesn't fix this and it doesn't fix this. It'll let you have fun for a little bit, you know. But anyway. It is a priceless treasure, which kind of ties in with what we were just talking about. Wisdom is more precious than rubies, and nothing that you desire can compare with her. So what that is saying is, no matter what on this planet that you are seeking, looking for, nothing is as sweet as having wisdom and understanding in the ways of the Lord, right? Long life and honor. I like this one. Long life is in her right hand, in her left hand are riches and honor. So we were just talking about riches and all of those other things. When that's not your number one priority, it'll come into your life, and it's just going to be a byproduct. God's going to bless you.
Yeah.
Is pretty much what that is. Peace and pleasantness, which is priceless. I'm sure there's tons of people that have all the money in the world, but they're anxious, they're nervous, they're just miserable all of the time, and they would gladly trade that money. I mean, don't you ever talk to people and they're like, I just want some peace and quiet. Like, some peace would be great. Peace is priceless. And I'm trying to not take it for granted because over my stuff here. For example, by the way, Tuesday's my 18 months.
I'm looking something up.
Yeah, no, go ahead. And my point with saying that is these last 18 months, I've had a peace that goes beyond all understanding.
Right.
And I can take that for granted sometimes. I even think about that. I'm like, I have to not take this for granted.
No.
It's just the peace that I feel. And it'll keep coming. I just need to remember to be grateful for it and to thank him for it.
Yeah.
And all of those things. Did you find something that you want to share like right now? Or
No, I had taken a picture because, and I've been.
I think I know what picture that is.
No, Pastor Andy was talking about, this week, and he said, he put up this quote, and it said, or whatever, regardless, Jesus is king. And that's all that he put up on the screen. And that's it. Like, no matter, that's the peace that you get, regardless of whatever circumstance is going on.
It's a great feeling to just know that, like,
Jesus is king, and Jesus is somebody who loves you unconditionally and loves you more than you will ever know, that you will ever be able to comprehend. You start to comprehend it a little bit if you have your own kids, and because you know that how much you love them. Well, he loves you. A fraction of it. That's just a fraction of how much he loves you. And if he loves you that much and you are obeying his will and he is the king, how can you not be at peace?
Right. Yeah. Because there's nothing better. Because no treasures can compare.
How much would we go to the ends of the earth to protect our own children? He's going to do that for you too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, is he going to let you stumble and learn from your mistakes along the way? Of course.
Yeah, 100%.
We do that with our own kids. But at the end of the day, I can have peace when I stumble because I know that he is king. I can have peace when the world's crumbling around me because I know that Jesus is in control and that he is king. And that's the peace that surpasses understanding.
Yep.
And And knowing that makes you wise and brings you wisdom beyond your years. It just does.
Yeah, it does. And
So,
yeah, that's just so true. And the difference is, and you know this, is when you have that peace,
mm-hmm.
God never promised that we're not going to have problems,
No.
but he promised that he's going to be with us when we do.
Yeah.
And so when you have that peace, like you were saying, the sky could be falling, everything be crumbling, super uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants that in their life.
No.
But you have that head knowledge that no matter what happens, you can kill me.
Right.
My end is Jesus. Like that's my prize.
Right.
Like that's what I'm getting at the end. So do your worst, sir. Like it really doesn't matter.
Right.
So, but yeah, well said.
Yep.
Is that the picture that you brought up, the one that you took this morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless, Jesus is king. Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
The scripture talked about it being a tree of life. Wisdom is a tree of life. To those who take hold of her, those who hold her fast will be blessed. And you see how important it is to chase after wisdom? Like you got to go after it. And here's the thing, it's not hard to go after. You just read the word and just study it. And just,
like it is.
You know, you have faith and you study. And I'm not asking people to like spend 60 hours a week reading the Old Testament and being on their knees for 18 hours a day. You don't have to do that. These are just some things you just need to realize by faith. Creation by wisdom. That's another one here that was in the scripture. By wisdom, the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding, he set the heavens in place. This just speaks more to God's wisdom. Divine wisdom. This is exciting. The same wisdom that created the universe lives in us.
Yep.
That's another thing that I think people take for granted, and that's another one that I am very fired up about making a podcast series out of, is that Christians walk around and we just don't even realize the power that resides within us. I don't think we tap 0.1% of it for the most part. Most people don't. I try to, but it's just you can't. Like our human brains can't do it. And so, I guess another point that I want to make, and seriously, I'm just about done with the text that I had. I figured we'd just talk about it for a little bit. And so this is important. I want to emphasize to you that the pursuit of wisdom is definitely a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
It takes a lifetime. So whenever I say, hey, I'm chasing after wisdom and I'm seeing all these cool things, yeah, that's yes and amen for sure. But this takes an entire lifetime. It's like sanctification, which is another. I have so many topic ideas running through my. It's funny every time I talk about one, I walk away with 10 more ideas. But you know, I want you guys to be praying. I want you to study your scriptures and live out God's principles. And so tomorrow, what I'd like to do is challenge. And if you have time today, go ahead and go for it. Read Proverbs 3. But tomorrow, I couldn't even tell you what it's about because I don't remember last month on October 4th, if I even read it on October 4th. But on November 4th, I will be reading Proverbs 4. And I'm excited to see what it's going to say to me. I know that there's no better way to start a day through that and with prayer. Because this is God himself, the king of the universe that made everything that you see, everything that you can hear, see, taste, touch, feel. He's giving you instructions on how to have an awesome life.
A blueprint.
Yeah, a blueprint. Yes, you did say blueprint at the beginning.
Did.
Yeah, was that your way of saying you were right?
No.
In a cute way. But no, you're absolutely right. It is a blueprint by definition.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it is. And so, you know, that's really just all that I wanted to leave with people. I wanted to talk about the power of wisdom, and that's why I titled this one Wisdom Hunter. Like, you should be absolutely bent on seeking out God's wisdom for your life. And Solomon was, but he ended up doing some crazy things as well. It's part of some of my sermons,
Haven't we
right?
all?
Oh, we have, but Solomon took it to a new level. He reminded me of the levels that I took it to whenever I was doing stupid things. Granted, he took it just a little bit further because he had $37 million in his Chase account. So, yeah, he did a few more things. But anyway, so any parting thoughts or anything on Proverbs for you? We're going to have this probably right around 30 minutes today instead of an hour, which I think is good. And I was really just wanting to do one because I didn't want 3 weeks to go by without us doing one.
Right.
Oh, and I guess I should explain why we didn't do one yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so for those of you that follow us on Facebook, obviously you saw that I became a ministerial student on Friday. It's really complicated, and like me just saying that, I know that doesn't mean much at all, but there's a process that you have to go through with our denomination. First of all, our local church has to recommend you, which they did. And So then I had to go meet with the actual district on Friday afternoon, and I did. And then I had my first ever college class yesterday, beginning down the track, down the track of pastoral ministries. And so, yeah, I'm going to be a pastor here in a couple of years. So, which is pretty wild. Pretty wild to think about. I'm excited about it. Just really, and it's not just to get the letters behind my name or anything like that. I just don't know vocationally, like where God's going to be taking me in this down the road. And also, I just want to learn more. I love learning about this, and these classes are intense. And so I love the idea of like hardcore studying the Old Testament for 8 weeks. Like that sounds amazing to me. And just all the other classes. So I'm going to get a lot more head knowledge about this stuff and more real life practical application. But just all around, this is just a crazy God thing.
It is.
Tuesday is my 18 months of sobriety. And I feel like God has done more with me in the last 18 months than he did in the previous 40 years. Yeah. And I mean that. And it's just crazy to just sit back and watch it. Every single day I'm in awe. I mean, every day his grace is new. Every single morning. I met a new friend yesterday, Matt, who's been preaching for a while. And he just kept bringing that up, that, his grace and his promises, they renew every single day. And we just need to remember that. And when that is renewed every single day, reinforce it. Read Proverbs 4 in the morning. It'll take you no more than 5 minutes. Yeah. It really will. And then if you want to get crazy, you can study it and read it again and just, how does this apply to my life? But to just read it, it takes less time than it does to take a quick shower.
Right.
It does. And just nobody does it. I mean, I don't want to say nobody, but you know what I mean. By and large, people just don't. But anyway, that's... I'm just super duper excited about it. God is so good. He's just given me so many things that I don't deserve, including just breathing right now. Yeah. It's just kind of wild. So did you have anything else that you wanted to add or say or
no, I'm
anything like that? I've got some guest speakers coming up, hopefully within the next several weeks. Caden being one of them. There's some other people, your mom. Her and I are going to be doing an interview. A couple people that I met yesterday at this college class way down south, way southern Indiana, down by French Lick. But
we're kind of we want to get a few testimonies in.
Yeah, I want to do that as well.
No matter what, you might think your testimony is boring, but
it's not.
We're trying to get some testimonies in because people can argue theology all day. They can't argue testimony.
Boom.
So,
that's so true.
If you would like to be on here and share your testimony, that would be great.
We'd love to have you.
We would love to have you.
Yeah, you could either come here or we could do it remotely.
Either way.
I have some meeting platforms that work out good.
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
That'd be great. So just reach out to us, let us know. Keep in mind this week that regardless, Christ is King.
Mm-hmm.
So regardless of how you feel, Christ is King. I suggest spending a lot of time in the Bible in the next couple of days. When you find yourself watching the news too much, turn it off, hit your knees, pray.
Yeah, you're not going to see anything new in the next couple of days that you haven't seen in the last 6 months. I mean, it's game time now.
I don't know about that. I think that...
You think some new stuff?
Yeah. I mean, they're both sides are
there
desperate.
There is crazy clown stuff every single day.
Yeah. So just pray. I'm praying for everybody, including myself, to have discernment.
Yeah.
We all need that right now. So
we always need that.
That's it.
We always need that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I would like to remind everybody that you down below you can also like and subscribe to this channel as well. And if you look in the description, we're also on Spotify and iHeartRadio for those of you that can't watch these videos. We love the YouTube. It's a good time. I love doing it. But some people like listening to this, like my sister. Shout out to Carrie. Love ya. But she listens to this while she's driving because she is on the go and she has probably one of the most insane lives of anybody that I know. And so, but we're on there. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. Pretty much any social media platform that you can think of besides WhatsApp. And we're on X. We're not on MySpace. I feel like that account got canceled.
I have no idea.
Most of you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say MySpace.
It was so cool. I loved having a theme song when you came to my page.
I loved having 10
put
friends.
Lots of thought into what theme song I was going to have.
I spent a lot of time doing it. I change it all the time,
what kind of format, decorations?
Would I have been in your top 10 friends? Would I have been up there? Maybe. No.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, hey, we love you guys, and just thanks for hanging out with us, and we really, really appreciate you. This is just so much fun just doing this and just sharing our life and sharing faith and just kind of nerding out. And yeah, just publishing these things, it is so much fun, and there is so much more coming down the pipe. There's some things that I'm not going to talk about until they actually happen, but early next year,
I've got some things in the works.
Yeah,
too.
There's a lot of cool things that I'm working on that they're going to be really, really neat that we're doing together in some aspects, and some other things that I'm doing personally.
And I'm doing some things as well.
You are?
Yeah.
Do I know what these things are?
Yes, you do.
I do? Okay. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, we love you guys, and we hope that you have an amazing day, and we will talk soon.
Toodles.
Toodles.